Hey guys, Pete Palazzolo here. Hey, just wanted to take this opportunity to answer some of the questions I've been getting on my TikTok and YouTube channel. Certainly has been a while, a couple of years anyway, since COVID that I started my TikTok and got serious about my YouTube channel. I kind of happened in a funny way. I'm a gigging musician and I played right up until COVID. I played in a classic rock tribute band here in the Windsor, Ontario area. The band was called Greatest Hits Live. But when COVID hit, all the gigs got wiped out. So I just decided to stay sharp. I would start making these videos. So basically that's why I did this. It's funny because my kids told me I should be starting a TikTok channel, and I said, I'm too old. I'm not doing that. It's kind of funny actually. But so I was doing YouTube initially just to stay sharp and keep my chops up and keep my voice lined up and my guitar fingers and piano skills up. But then my kids convinced me, and I thought, okay, we'll try this TikTok thing. And my daughter and my son, especially my son, helped me out with this. Anyway, what I want to do right now is answer some of these questions. And like I said, I probably should have done it a while back, but let's get to them. Anyway, here's the first question. I'm just going to grab a couple of these screenshots and I'll read them to you and try to answer them best I can. Alright, first question. This is from Melissa Grand Mason. How old are you now, and how old were you when you played your first gig? Can't read it. I'm 63 now, and my first gig I played when I was 15. I played guitar and with my two buddies in my very first band, bass player and a guitar player and a drummer. We were a three-piece and weren't very good, but we played in the garage for neighborhood kids, and that was about it in the beginning. Then I started playing a couple times at my grade school. As a 15-year-old, I went back and played a couple of grade school dances, and that's how it started, the very, very beginning. Anyway, question one down. Cindy H. asks, did you learn guitar or piano first? Well, actually, Cindy, trumpet was my first instrument. I played trumpet, I don't know when you started grade school, grade 6 or 7, something like that. I think it was grade 6. So I played trumpet in grade school, grade 6, 7, and 8, and I played trumpet all the way through high school in the concert band. And then I played trumpet in the university orchestra, so that was my first instrument. And I don't actually own a trumpet now, and I haven't played one in years. So that was my first instrument, and then guitar was my next instrument. Then I went to piano and I picked up bass and a couple other instruments, fooled around on drums. And so that was my first instrument, trumpet, not guitar or piano. Do you have an eyesight problem? Great music. Probably wondering why I wear these. It's a pain in the ass, obviously. Not interested in wearing them, but I have to. Torn my retina in my right eye. I've had 3 eye surgeries, and if I don't wear them with these lights, looking at a computer, I get headaches and dizziness, and I feel like crap. So I just wear them because they're prescription, and they're tinted so it can block out the lights that give me headaches. So thanks for the question. This is from Grady180. Great voice and videos. After you learn a song on piano, how long until you combine? Oh, how long until you can combine the lyrics and the vocals? Great question. Depends on if it's a song that I've known forever. Like a song like Lady by Styx. Literally, I've known it for 35 years. So that didn't take me too long at all. I just kind of sat down and played it and recorded it. But if it's something new that I never ever played before, I might have to practice it for 45 minutes and then sit down after I get the piano down, add the vocal to it. So the whole process can take an hour and a half until I feel ready enough to actually record it so you guys can hear it. So that process can take anywhere from nothing to maybe an hour and a half, depending on how difficult the song is. And also, of course, depending on, like I said, if I've played the song before. Seeing how most bands I've ever been in, I always was a guitar player. Piano was something I did on the side. There weren't too many piano songs that I actually knew, like that I do now. I mean, some of them obviously I do know, but a lot of them I have to learn from scratch, and it takes a little bit more time. Anyway, good question. This is from Coder X. How did you not get famous? Had to be a choice you made. Your voice is pure gold. Well, thanks so much. That's a long story. Well, I mean, I started playing in bands when I was 15, and we got a record deal in the 80s when I was 24 or 5, something like that. And we had a good band back then. It was 80s rock. It was kind of like a blend of Bryan Adams and Van Halen, if you can imagine morphing those two into one. But as often happens, certain players and bands eventually just don't want to do it anymore, and a couple of guys in my band at the time decided that they didn't want to do it anymore, and then our record company went bankrupt, and I just thought I'd come back to Windsor and put together a music studio, which is what I do now. I have a music lesson place where we do lessons for kids, teenagers, adults, and recording studio here. So I run it, I own it as well. And I've always been able to keep my band stuff going on the side, like classic rock tribute bands and stuff. So, it's been a while that I've been doing this. So, I tried in the 80s, and then after that I thought, I'm not doing this anymore. I want to get serious. I got married, had 4 kids, and this is my business now. So, and I enjoy it. I like it. No regrets. Thanks. Next question. Jimmy Towery. Jimmy says, brother, you're so good. I mean it. Who did you play for or still play for? I'm sorry I don't know, but I know you are so good. Well, thanks, man. Name of the band in the 80s that I played for was Tanzen, T-A-N-Z-E-N. Before that, the band was called London. That was a band that got discovered in Windsor. We were called London, and we got a record deal, and then the manager for that band decided we should change the name simply because there was another band out of LA called London. And believe it or not, one of the members of Guns N' Roses was in that band before Guns N' Roses. So this would have been mid-80s before, or maybe slightly earlier than mid-80s before Guns N' Roses were a thing. I'm not sure which one of the members, but one of them was in the band London in the LA area. So we changed our name from London to Tanzen. We've released an album in Canada, and I think in Belgium too. It did pretty good in Europe, but that was the name of the band back then. That was probably the most successful. I've had a few other bands. Recently, my cover band where we did tributes to Styx, Journey, classic rock from the 70s and 80s. That band was called Greatest Hits Live, and we played casinos, festivals, corporate gigs and stuff. So that's that. Your voice is fired. Do you ever tour in the States? Scott, 861. Not anymore. Now since COVID hit, I decided I didn't want to play live anymore. Actually, I started concentrating on YouTube and TikTok and my job here at the conservatory where I run a recording studio and teach the adults. But I'm not really interested in playing anymore. It's been a while. It's been 3 years since I've done anything live. And I don't miss it yet, to tell you the truth. And I'm not sure when I'll return to it. I have thought about the possibility of putting something together with my daughter and playing again, but right now I'm not really even thinking about that. Maybe next year we'll think about playing live, but not right now. Thanks for the questions. Next one. Do you overdub the harmonies? Are these all of you too? Susie Q asks that. Yeah, every TikTok or YouTube video I make, I play everything, and I do all the backup harmonies myself. So that's that. I use Logic Pro here in my studio, and I record all the parts myself. Sometimes I use a click track, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll just start with a piano and my voice and then add music after around it if I feel it sounds empty. But the process is usually I make the tracks myself and I'll do my own harmonies myself, if there are harmonies on it. Thanks for the question, Susie Q. Coastal Storm asks, are you a recording artist? Yeah, for myself. I have stuff up on Spotify and Apple Music. I have a cover album up there, and I have an all-original album as well. Also, the album I released in the 80s got re-released in 2017 on Steelheart Records, which is a European label. So if you look them up, Steelheart Records, you can find some of the recordings that we made back in the 80s, and we even re-recorded 4 new tracks in 2017 to add to the re-release of our 80s CD, our 80s album back then. So that's that. Next one. Do you sell your own music? Yeah, you can find it on, Spotify, Apple Music. Check it out. Cover album, original album. Thank you for the question. By the way, Peter, do you enter all the Star Search singing programs out there today? If not, why not? You are by far the best singer I've heard in quite some time. Well, thanks. Love your voice and the duets you do with your daughter. Just curious, does she enter the Star Search programs? Well, I'm not sure if Star Search is even a thing anymore. I imagine you're referring to The Voice or American Idol, Canadian Idol, any of those programs. For me, no. I never, ever consider entering any of them. Like I said before, I'm 63. I don't really have any interest in doing that. I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I have no visions of grandeur, and I'm not into it. I don't really even want to. My daughter has. She has gone in some. She went in one in the States, and I think she finished top 10 out of, I don't know how many. I think that program or that particular competition was called The Song, and she did very well in that. She has her own stuff, and you check her out, Christy Palace, on YouTube or TikTok. She's a good writer, good singer, and she's entered a couple of those things and done well in some of them for sure. Anyway, thanks for the question.